I'm so glad you see that. Thank you. Yes, I work my ass off.
How are you doing, Dakota? It's great to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you too. How are you?
I'm great, and even better after seeing this movie. I loved it, and I love that your character is this strong-willed. Do you know what I mean? Woman that's like I don't know. She's just this really strong female character. So I was wondering, was that something that grabbed you as well as the Jane Austen part of the story?
Yes, of course. Especially because now, women are, especially in America, experiencing circumstances where they are incredibly imprisoned and hindered. And that's what it was like for this character, for Anne Elliot, a lot of times for Jane Austen. So to be able to make the movie now, and also, yes, of course, Jane Austen is the dream adaptation. That's what, in growing up wanting to be an actress, there was like, I want to be a superhero and I also want to wear a corset.
I mean, a period film like this, so good.
Yeah.
And you're constantly breaking the fourth wall. Like it's a very modern adaptation of a Jane Austen story. So is that something that attracts you too? And is it harder than it looks to in a scene to keep breaking that camera and talk to us? Do you know what I mean? Or look into the camera and talk to us in the audience?
Um, no, it felt funny and it felt great. It felt like being able to include the audience in a way that I obviously haven't seen in a period film before, which I think makes it slightly more accessible for people and a little bit easier to relate to when you feel like you're let in on the joke. Um,
Yeah.
I think sometimes in scenes, I was aware that my looking into the camera would maybe distract other actors, but
It works really well. I thought it worked brilliantly in the film. I love Richard E. Grant. He is in this too. I absolutely love him. And he's so funny, his character. He plays your father in it. And he has a line, what good is a title if you have to earn it? What good is anything if you have to earn it? I thought it was really funny. Obviously not true, but a great line. And it
yeah,
made me think in real life, from my point of view, you're kind of the opposite of that. Because obviously you have these famous parents that we all know. But from the
yeah.
outside, it looks like you've worked really hard to make your own name and make your own independence. Like you did earn it. Is that true to you? Because that's just me from the outside looking in.
I'm so glad you see that. Thank you. Yes, I work my ass off. Yeah, my whole life. Like the minute I moved out of my house, I was kind of on my own. So, um, yes, I do. I do think the exact opposite of what um, Sir Walter Elliot says in that scene.
Was it important to you always to make your name on your own? Do you mean to be independent?
Yeah, it was important to me to just to feel that I had my own path and that I was doing what was true to me and not necessarily, it wasn't about getting away from my parents. I love them. Like I think they're so phenomenal, but it was a lot for me of figuring out what my artistry is and what my strengths are and what I wanted, not
Yeah.
necessarily trying to get away from them, but more just like be myself.
Yeah, and you're a brilliant actress. I mean, in this, one of the things I always think about actors who do, you can cry on cue. There's a bit of crying in this. Do you know what I mean? I assume it's on cue, or is there a lot of takes behind that? Do you find that easy to just suddenly, and then you actually turn to the camera and talk? Like, is it hard to do that?
I don't know. It's so weird. It's such a weird thing to do, but I just feel, I guess in those moments, I feel very connected to the character and to the moment. And that's the easiest way for me to get to that place of feeling vulnerable or I guess to like open my heart is to just really um, like empathize with the situation and the character.
Yeah, and you've done so many different roles. I mean, very diverse, different characters. Obviously, The 50 Shades was an international phenomenon. And I saw you recently said you signed up to do a very different version of that film that ended up what we saw. So, how do you choose your roles? And are you happy with the films, the 50 Shades series? Because it was an unusual liner I just saw online.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy with them. I do think that everything turns out how it's supposed to. It's everything is meant to be what it is. And um I for signing on to that movie, yeah, there was a different a different energy than what it turned into, but it was such an incredible experience and so amazing for my career and learning about myself and making those kinds of movies. Being on that set was, you know, I'm so grateful for all of it, and I love those movies, but it turned out into something else.
Oh, well, listen, for now, congratulations on Persuasion. Loved it, and great to talk to you, Dakota. Thank you.